Today I wanted to share some of the extreme basics for new players that want to come into the Division 2, especially when you're at endgame and you're not sure really what to do. Going to be sharing a lot of that. I may not cover every single little bit of everything in endgame, so if you're a veteran player that's been playing for a while, feel free to add it in the comments below. That way you can help anyone else out that comes in that's brand new. Anyway, let's get started with this. All right, so the first thing, when you hit max level, so level 30, level 40 is max level, but you can start this as early as level 30 once you complete the major strongholds during that time. You're going to be looking into getting a specialization. So this is either getting the crossbow, there's a grenade launcher, and then there's also the sniper. They all have their different type of play styles, so you can look into it over here at the White House. So you just teleport over there. With getting the specializations in the first place, there's a few missions that you have to do. I don't remember exactly what order the missions are. It will most likely give you a set of missions anyway of stuff to do regardless. So you just want to finish off the stuff that you haven't completed yet. So right here at this guy, he's going to give you a bunch of specializations. So you have all these other ones. These are some newer ones that came out a little bit more recently than when I was playing it at launch. These are a little bit different, and I'll explain a little bit of that. But the main ones that you're going to be looking at is on this side, so all the way on the right. You got Demolitionist, Survivalist, and Sharpshooter. The one I'm using right now for myself is Survivalist, and the main reason why I like it is because the crossbow is really cool for blowing off like pieces of armor and stuff, and also it works really well with this healer build that I'm doing right now. So the cool thing about this is that you could respec at any time. You see there is a respec button right there, so I could respec the whole thing. If I wanted to, I can change to a totally different line. It gives you full points once you fully unlock it, and then you're able to just swap to whatever you want at any point in time. So that's the coolest part about that. Then there is these over here. So there's the firewall, the gunner, the tactician. These three, you have to do specific missions in order to get these unlocked, and these work coincide with the three that I mentioned. So these three, so you're gonna pick one of these survivalists, or these three, and then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna start working on one of these to kind of complement that style. So I'm working on tactician right now, and in here, in order to actually work on trying to unlock that, you'll press escape and you'll go to progression. And you see right here, you see the priority that I have at the moment is one of those quests, which I think there's a better way to open that. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Field research. There it is. So you see that? There it is. All right. So you just press that button, field research, and then you're able to see what you're supposed to be doing to unlock the next tier. Pretty much you have to just run through this whole entire thing. It's a bunch of easy stuff for the most part, like killing 3 enemies with a grenade, it's like random shit like that. So you're going to be working on this for a little bit to get it fully unlocked. The next thing you're going to be looking into doing is upping the difficulty. And the way you do this is by opening up your map, and then you'll see on the bottom there, you see where it says global settings, which this thing always changes all the time. This is always like moving. But you see global settings right there. I have it set for Z, but I change my keybinds a lot, so I'm not sure if that's the same button by default. So you can click on that. Change the difficulty. I recommend putting it to either hard or challenging. If you feel like you're not ready for challenging, then you could probably just play on hard. The only downside is that you're not going to be getting you're going to be getting a lot of like the purple loot, and you don't really want that at endgame. You're trying to get gold or exotic. So exotic is the red ones. So the way for you to really increase that chance is to play challenging or heroic. I don't recommend playing it on heroic when you're first starting, because you're going to get your ass whooped. You're better off doing this in a group. For the most part, even with me being somewhat geared right now, I still play on challenging when I'm solo, mainly because I like to enjoy myself. I play video games for fun, and I'm not trying to stress myself out playing on heroic and getting my ass whooped. You know what I mean? So I prefer to just play on challenging, and challenging drops still really good loot. You have chances to get what's called God rolls that has like full stats. So like if you go in here, I have some right here, like see like this one for example. You see it has full stats completely. I didn't upgrade it or anything. It just dropped it and it was like this. So it had full LMG, full this, and full that. So these are the things you're pretty much going to be aiming for, or at least trying somewhat to get. It doesn't have to be perfect, and there is ways to fix this to make it as perfect as possible, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So as far as like optimizing of gear, you're going to be spending a lot of time in the crafting. It's too bad that this game doesn't have an auction house or anything. You can't like sell things to other players. You can trade during a mission. So let's say if you're doing a mission and somebody gets a god rolled item and they feel like sharing it with you, which is rare, then they will drop it and then you can go ahead and use it for yourself. But if outside of those cases, you're going to have to craft. So there's these two crafting tables right around the corner from that specialization. There's the recalibration station, which I'll talk about in a second, and then there's also the actual crafting itself. So in here, you can go in, and let's say if you already got an item that you really like, let's say you really love this police M4, you can go ahead and just keep hitting craft, and it's gonna do a randomly generated thing. You could sit there crafting all day, but honestly, I don't feel like it's worth it. You're going to be wasting all your materials and all your money for no reason, and you probably won't even get a god rolled item. So the thing that I prefer to do is I would come over here to the recalibration station and go up to optimization. And in here, you can max out the stats on something. So let's say, for example, the Super 90, I landed up getting this fully optimized. It had two stats that were god rolled. So it was the damage armor, and it was also the critical hit damage. So the only thing that was low was the shotgun damage. So what I did was I used my resources in order to upgrade it to get it to maximum. And as you can see right there, I'm not sure if you can optimize multiple things at once. So it's probably a better idea for you to find something that's very close to completely god rolled to, you know, optimize. But who knows, maybe it is possible. I just haven't tried. So like here, for example, you see how these if I wanted to start working on this, I could click on one of these. You see how it shows the materials on the bottom that I'm missing. You see it shows like a little shotgun, which you can see what those materials are, like this X. I forget what the X means. So let's look under show resources and we'll look for that X. It's this icon right here. And it says acquired by defeating right here bosses. So, and you can also craft it at the crafting station if you have the blueprint, which the blueprints are a little bit harder to get, and I'll explain that in a second. So if you're trying to hunt down that specific type of enemy to try to get that piece of loot, so what you could do is you can back out, go to the map, and then you can look to see what areas would have the certain types of mobs. See, this one says True Sons on the left side. This one says hyenas. I think right here's are in New York, if I'm not mistaken. But let me see. Let's try New York. So I'm gonna go look at New York. Right here's here they are. So this top part is showing it. I'm not sure if this changes around because sometimes the loot and stuff moves around every day. So every day it could be like a different area that drops submachine guns and stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind. So you can go there and you can just either farm that mission for all these materials on top of getting a chance to get that little, you know, that material, that X material thing from the actual named bosses, or even probably even regular bosses could drop it. So there is that. Another option that you have is recalibration. So you can come in here and you can actually change out a certain stat for something else. So let's say I don't like the thing on my backpack and I want to change something from my backpack. I already re-rolled something. So once you re-roll something to a different stat, it's only going to be able to be changed. It's only going to be able to change that one thing. So let's say, for example, this one is talents. If it was a completely fresh piece that I didn't touch, it would have gave me the option of changing everything. So if I wanted to change the weapon damage for like an armor or something, or change it for like skill up or whatever, then it would allow me to do that as long as I have the library with that item. So another thing that you're going to be spending time doing while you're doing this is adding stuff to the recalibration library. So in here, let's say, for example, let me pull something up. You see how right here it says something can be improved. I can click on that and then I can look through the things I haven't maxed out yet. So let's say rate of fire right here. So this one, it will upgrade it to 3.9%. What I usually do personally is I wait until it's fully like, you know, like God rolled or whatever. So it will be maxed out, and then I'll extract it to keep it. And the cool thing about this is that it will stay in your library forever. So it's not like a one-time deal or anything. Once you actually put it in there, it's there for good. So that's the best part about it. So once you get these in here, then if something for some reason didn't have the perfect stats that you were looking for, you could always change it to have the thing that you want. So that's a good thing right there. So every day you're going to be spending time doing the project board. So this is when you open up M or your map and then you click on projects right up here, and you'll have dailies and also weeklies. For example, I already finished the weeklies. There's some of these weeklies that actually give you like exotic caches, so you can have a chance to get something nice from there, which I landed up getting the knee pads that I'm wearing right now, which I really truly love from doing the weeklies. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to be able to just like do that every week. So keeping up with that is pretty important, and doing the daily, which the daily is always so easy. It will tell you exactly where you need to be and everything. See base of operations. So, okay, so complete activities in downtown East. So that's most likely in Washington. So in here in downtown East, I got a few things to do. They're always the same thing every single day. So at least it's pretty easy to understand. It's usually do any kind of activity in that area. It's killed name bosses. It's resupply the control points. So if you capture at least one control point and you start getting like the food and the water and all those things, you just give it to them, and it's only 50 to do it, so it's pretty cheap. And this rewards you a crafting blueprint, which is the most important thing you're probably going to be looking into getting. So that's the main reason why you're going to be collecting that, is so that it makes it easier for you to craft the things like I was showing earlier, which is the X from the right here, material that you need for like upgrading weapons and stuff. You can just straight up craft that with just crafting materials instead of having to actually go farm in those areas, you know? So you could even double up and farm in the areas and also craft at the same time to even, you know, boost that chance to get you up there to craft the stuff you want. And of course, the shade calibration is going to be pretty important also for some of the crafting that you're going to be doing. To get like crafting blueprints, this is not the only way to get it. You can also get it through doing certain control points. So like, let's say, let me look around, for example, and see if I can find something. Crafting materials from this one and a crafting blueprint. You see, so this control point that's literally right next to where I am drops a crafting blueprint. It's going to be completely random. You don't know what it's going to be, but it's still worth farming so that you can get the stuff that you need. On top of it's getting the field recon data. So that's another material that you're probably going to need for crafting. So it makes it worth it. So like looking into all these is very important. See, like there's crafting blueprints in pretty much every single one of these. So it's worth it to go back and do these. And I'm not sure exactly if these are repeatable within the same day, but you can reset the world in case you already finished all the control points by going into the global settings again. So you like right down here, if I could ever click on it, global settings, you see reset control points. You can go ahead and just reset that. And boom, then you can start doing it again. So that's another opportunity for you to go out and probably even farm them if it's possible. I haven't tried it myself, so I'm just letting you know. One of the biggest things you're going to be spending a lot of time doing at endgame is doing the summit. It's almost like that endless thing that they had in the very first game, where you would just stay in the same area and just grind it out into phases until you either get wiped or you complete it, which I don't remember if it's completable or not, but I used to farm it until level 10, and then I used to leave and then just do it all over again. That was the best way to get exotics, and this is pretty much the same thing. So doing the summit is very worth it for not only getting exotics, but also getting God-rolled gear. That's why it's really worth it to do the summit. And also, one of the coolest things about the summit is that you can actually change the loot from it. So I just teleported to the summit. I was just going to show you real quick. You see right on the bottom, it says select targeted loot. So you can click on that, and then you can pick what type of gear you want to actually get mostly out of it. Works really well. Like the other day, I grinded a good like 30 floors for not only for the weekly on my project board, but also because I was trying to get backpack material and also hoping to get like a good backpack I could wear for myself, which I did anyway. So this is the really cool thing about the summit, is that you can target it for a specific type of things. So let's say if you wanted to get a classified piece of gear, like you wanted to work on the striker set, you know, you just click the striker set, you get that set as your main loot. You start doing all those rounds and you'll eventually rack up so much striker stuff that you won't even know what to do with it. So like it's really cool that they added this to the game, because this is basically like the thing you're going to be spending the most time in at endgame, is trying to maximize your loot, trying to get your stuff upgraded as much as possible to be able to do even harder content like doing legendary or spending more time in heroic in general, you know? So yeah. So that's the good thing about it. And a lot of people run the summit, so it's really easy to, like, you know, do a matchmake and get into a round like easily. So yeah, it's a really popular spot. It kind of reminds me a lot of Warframe when I was like running, where I would get like prime gear and shit like that. Like I would just keep doing those over and over until I get all the primes, so I could sell it to people and get like premium currency stuff. So that was the cool part about it. I wish this game had an auction house, man. This game would have easily been like so much better if it had an auction house. That way, you know, we don't have to worry about all this RNG shit, because the RNG is like what really hurts this game. Anyway, whatever. We're not ranting about that today. We're not ranting. Okay, so that pretty much covers the basics of all the stuff that you're going to be doing at endgame and even while leveling. I definitely recommend doing a lot of that the recalibration library as you're leveling up. That could be something that could be really beneficial to you once you get to, you know, the real end game at 30. That way you can maximize the stuff that you have. But some of the tips I just wanted to share real quick. There is also the manhunt, which is almost like a battle pass-ish, kind of. Not really. I mean, there's a battle pass aside from this, but this is also something that you could be doing on the side that gives really good pieces of gear and is still worth doing, especially since they give you an actual power at the end of it, which I'm slowly starting to work towards. Next tip is the matchmaking system doesn't always work perfect, because there's a lot of times that people don't usually use it. So let's say, for example, like if you were gonna do some like random ass mission like this one right here, and you go into the matchmaking and you set it up, a lot of times you're gonna be waiting there for like decades waiting for a mission. So instead, I recommend going to the mission yourself. So once you teleport over there and you change it to whatever difficulty you want. So like, this is what I usually do. Let me just show you. You see how it's set for challenging, and this is how I usually solo. But when I do missions, I always put it on heroic. So I would go in here, I'll change it to heroic and press replay. Boom. Now it's set for heroic, and I'll press escape. I'll go into social, and then I'll press call for help. This is the fastest way to get teammates. So what I usually do is I'll call for help. I'll wait till somebody joins, and the moment somebody is joining, I go back into this menu again, press call for help again, and I keep doing that until I get a full team of people. So usually what I do is when I'm first calling for help and the first person comes in, I'm already going to start walking in to start doing a mission, you know? So I'll start working on it. I'm pretty confident in my build, so I feel like I could solo heroics. I just prefer not to, because they're a pain in the ass. Like, some of the mobs have like a stupid amount of health, and you're sitting there like they're like bullet sponges, and you know, it's not fun to deal with. So you're better off doing it in a team, and that's why I recommend, if you're a new player, to do things on challenging or hard, just to kind of get like accustomed to your build and trying to feel yourself out before you start getting into some serious shit. You know, you don't want to land up like me when I was like level 2, and when I hit end game, you level up again, and I was only level 2, and I got matched up with some people in a legendary, and oh my god, it was a nightmare. But we got through it. I don't know how the hell I didn't get kicked off the team, but yeah, like, it was a nightmare. Also, remember to respec your specialization. Remember to respec your specializations whenever you're whenever you change your builds around. So like, for example, I wasn't really doing that, and then I started getting new gear and I wasn't allocating it to the stuff I'm currently using. So you can do that right in here. For example, if you got certain stats, like you're changing into like a DPS build, you may want to, you know, reallocate to maybe sharpshooter or demolitionist, whatever. And then also you got these over here. So yeah, I think it's pretty important to mess around with these, especially if you change your weapon around a lot. I noticed that I was running around with like the sniper one, even though I haven't used the sniper in like days. So it's really important to come back and check it out to see what you were doing to kind of fix that up a bit. And then also checking your mods regularly. So like going into here, let's say like, for example, this piece, if I wanted to look and see if there's a higher version of this one, which I probably don't have a higher version of that one, but I can look around for something that has higher repair skill, and, you know, and then just kind of slap it in. So that's something to kind of look into also. And that's something you could probably forget about after a while, after just grinding around. All right, that covers it. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.